First up, cooking pasta, a great budget basic to keep in the cupboard.
It can be easily undercooked or overcooked. Here's how to do it properly. First, water in, nice large pan to make sure the pasta's got sufficient room to cook evenly. Nicely seasoned, absolutely crucial. Olive oil in, that stops the pasta from sticking together. Bring it up to the boil, that's a rolling boil. The secret there, it stops the pasta from sticking together and it gently rolls it around. Now, this is angel pasta, nice thin pasta, takes 3.5 to 4 minutes. So, into the pan, as it hits the water, it melts, and then you turn it round. Tongs, as that starts to melt, gently twist that into the pan, bring it back up to the boil. If you're bad at timing, then set a timer. Beautiful. To test it, lift a little strand, and you can actually feel it with your fingers. It's still nice and firm. Al dente. Not a bite, not a strong bite, but just really nice and firm inside. Definitely not crunchy. And then, into a colander, drain the pasta in a light seasoning, salt and pepper, a tablespoon of olive oil. Mix that through. That stops it from sticking together. And look, there you go. Beautiful pasta, al dente. Cooked perfectly.
A tip for making the most of spare bread, blitz leftovers into breadcrumbs, great for stuffing or crab cakes, or cut into chunks and freeze for perfect croutons on demand, or simply tear and use in a delicious rustic salad. Dried pulses like chickpeas or lentils are great for soups and stews and cost pennies, but don't season them until the end of the cooking or the salt makes them go tough. For perfect boiled potatoes, always start them off in cold water and never boiling water. This way, by the time the centres of the potatoes are cooked, the outside won't be falling apart. And when you're cooking potatoes, always cook extra, so there's leftovers. They're fantastic to have on hand for making my delicious gnocchi and potato rusties or a classic bubble and squeak.
Basmati rice, the king of all rices. Light, fluffy, delicious, and I'm going to show you how to cook it perfectly. Now, start off with 400 grams of rice. Rice in, spot on. So what I'm going to do now is just rinse off the dust and the starch. Cold water, always. And just rinse the rice. That stops the rice from becoming clumpy in the pan and allows it to become really nice, light and fluffy once it's cooked. Rice into the pan. Now, to make a plain, fluffy rice exciting, we're going to infuse it. 3 cardamom pods, and just get the pods and just pierce them so it allows all that flavour to come out. Cardamom pods, and then star anise. Now, these are beautiful. Whole star anise. It makes it really nice and fragrant. Salt and pepper. A lot easier to season the rice now than it is once it's cooked. You start to break it up when you season it once it's cooked. Now, it's basically 1 part rice to 1.5 part water. 600 mils. Always start it off in cold water. Cold water in. Onto the gas. Lid on. Bring it up to the boil as quick as possible and turn it down and let it simmer for 8 to 10 minutes. And that's the secret behind cooking great rice. Allow it to steam as it's cooking. Do not lift that lid up. Lid off. It smells aromatic. Basically, all the water's absorbed, the rice has doubled in size, and it's nice and light and fluffy. Take the star anise out. The cardamom pods, they all should have risen to the top. Pods out. Take your fork, fluff it through. Basically, it just sort of starts to open everything back up. Once you've forked it through, it becomes really nice and light and fluffy. And there. That is perfectly cooked rice.
Always make the most of your leftovers. Use last night's rice in stir-fries, scrambled up with eggs, or it's simple to make a delicious fresh salad. Remember, a good cook wastes nothing. A great tip for stopping potatoes, apples and avocados from going brown when cut. Simply cover with water and add a squeeze of lemon. The acidity stops the flesh from oxidizing, which is what causes the colour to change. Herbs are great for adding flavour without spending a fortune. To keep them at their best, simply place them in a glass of water and they'll stay fresh for up to a week. And if you've got extra herbs left over, save on waste by making an amazing flavoured oil. Place wash and dried stems in a bottle, cover with warmed olive oil, then seal and leave to infuse. Great for salads, pastas, and drizzling on veg. With how to skin and debone a fish the hassle-free way.
This is basically a filleted side of salmon. It's been taken off the bone, and now, skin off. Pick up your knife, a really nice, broad, flexible filleting knife. A little sharpen, lift up the base of the towel, and then just nick a little bit at the end there. Twist the knife, almost as if it's horizontally underneath the salmon. Pull the skin, and you slice the salmon underneath and let the knife do the work. Now, get your skin, flip it back over, and check you're not leaving too much salmon on top of the skin. Pull it back, and nice and slowly get the skin, wrap it around your fingers, pull the salmon towards you, and then just all the way through. Lay that down. One nicely skinned salmon, just like a perfect snake skin. Get your knife and just run the knife down, and then with a pair of tweezers, these are fish tweezers, but you can use normal tweezers, look for the head, up and pull. And with the skin being removed from underneath the salmon, the pin bones come out a lot easier. And the pin bones only go to just basically halfway along the fillet. One nice fillet of salmon, beautiful.
There's still plenty of flavour in the trimmings from a filleted fish. My tip is don't waste those fish bones. Add to water, wine, a bay leaf, and some chopped veg to make a simple but versatile fish stock at home, the perfect base for a delicious fish soup. A great tip for intensely flavoured, stress-free veg is to steam them in their own juices. Simply add to a pan with a knob of butter and seasoning, then cook on a low heat with the lid on to lock in the moisture. For crispy roast potatoes you can depend on, my tip is to parboil them, leave them to steam dry, then sprinkle them with semolina or flour and give them a good roughing up. This ensures they go really crispy in the oven. A great tip for browning meat or fish is to dry it with kitchen roll before you cook it. Then you'll get a much better colour. Too much moisture makes the meat steam instead of sear, and you'll lose that rich brown crust like the one I got on those sticky pork ribs.